So, as I am recording this, it is 4 minutes past midnight and it is August the 30th. And I'm officially 18 years old. I'm officially a grown up. This time 18 years ago, I was about to be born. Technically, I'm not 18 yet because it's not until 9:52, I'm pretty sure, that I was born. So, technically, I'm not 18 yet, but on paper, I am because it's my birthday today. 4 minutes past midnight. I thought I'd stay up, feel, experience the first few minutes of me being a grown up. Because usually I just go to sleep on my birthday and then wake up the next day and then it's my birthday. But I thought, why not I stay up and feel the adult aura, if you know what I mean. I want to talk about a few things in this video, but the first thing I want to talk about is how do I feel now that I'm 18 years old on paper? How do I feel, And to be honest with you, as much as I want to say, oh, I don't feel different, I feel the same, I kind of do feel a little bit different already, in the first few minutes of being a grown-up. And I'm not going to say they're good thoughts. Usually you're 18, like, oh, I'm a grown-up now, I can, drink and party and stuff like that legally now. And it's like, I don't do none of that stuff, and I'm not interested in doing any of that stuff anyways, right? I mean, maybe I wouldn't, maybe I wouldn't mind dabbling in, clubbing here and there, going to raves and stuff like that. Maybe, right? Once in a blue moon. But, drinking and all that stuff, I have no interest in doing that because, drinking, bro, I don't do any of that degenerate stuff. But the number 18, let me put it like this, right? I've been a kid my whole life. So when I suddenly just turn 18, it's midnight, the clocks go, it's my birthday. And I'm 18 now. I'm officially a grown-up. Not only do I feel a bit rubbish that I have more responsibility put on me, I guess more pressure put on my back, I guess that's part of it, but I also just don't like to get older, I want to remain a kid my whole life, almost, because it's what is the happiest, when are you going to be the most happy, when are you going to be the most happy in your life? It is when you are a kid, right? It's when you're young and you're still innocent, your mind is pure, and your brain hasn't, unless you've had a really, really bad childhood, your brain hasn't developed that trauma that you're going to have later in life, right? Because I don't know any statistical research. I haven't done any research on it, but I'm sure 90% of human beings, if not more, have some sort of trauma or something that's happened to them in their childhood, right? But unless you've had a really bad childhood, awful childhood, right? Sorry for the floorboards. I'm not farting, by the way. It's my floorboards. They creak and stuff. Unless you've had an awful childhood, awful, you're not really going to develop that trauma as a kid anyways. So as a kid, you're just the most happy and joyful and stuff. And I just don't want to grow older, because I'll be honest, one of my biggest fears is death, right? I don't want to die. I'm scared, I wish I could live forever, I'm scared of death because I don't know what happens, right? If I knew what happened after death, maybe I could feel a bit better about it. But because nobody that's alive knows it's midnight, I'm tired. I apologize for the stuttering and brain fog. No one knows what happens after death that is alive. So that kind of scares me. Have I talked about this before in a D4's video? I'm not too sure. But at the same time, I've got to think to myself, for the last couple years, I haven't even been happy anyways. My social life has depleted. My social skills have depleted. A lot of things have gotten worse for me in these last couple years. So it's as much as I'm oh, I'm not a kid anymore, so I can't be happy anymore. That's just rubbish. That's just complete rubbish, because for the last couple years, a lot of the time, I've been miserable anyways. So it's I've got to just remind myself that nothing's going to change in my life, really. It's just, age is just a number, right? In this context, obviously, we're talking about in this context. We're not talking about anything else. Age is just a number. So, I just have to remind myself that I'm 18 and I just have to look at the benefits. I'm a grown-up now and I should be glad that I have this, added responsibility and pressure put on me, because it's only going to push me to work harder. I want to be successful by a certain time, right? So if I'm just 17 years old forever, I'm not going to feel pressured enough to work harder, because I don't want to be 25 plus and I'm still a failure. You know what I mean? I at least want to be financially stable by 25 or younger, So as my birthdays go on, it only puts more pressure on me, which, like nobody likes pressure put on them, but in the long run, it's going to help you get to the place where you want to be. But the next thing I want to talk about is how lost I've been feeling lately, especially over these last couple weeks. If you have watched my recent couple videos, you do know that on YouTube at this moment in time, August the 30th, and the last couple weeks, my YouTube channel has fell off. I went from getting 100 views, 700 views, 300 views all in a row to now getting like 1 view, 2 views, like 7, 8 views if I'm lucky, right? Right, so I have fallen off, right? Bro has fell off, El ratio, right? Like I've actually fell off. And because of that, it's made me feel quite scared because, for the last year and a half since I've had this YouTube channel, less than a year and a half, but round it up to a year and a half, I've put, pretty much all of my faith into this YouTube channel and really wanted it to work out, because without YouTube, like from a financial point of view, I don't have anything else going for me. Like I've already mentioned, I've dropped out of school. I don't have a job, right? Like I'm fully relying on this YouTube channel and this YouTube channel to grow, to, support me financially in the future, right? And as much as that's a good idea, you have to have something as a backup just in case that never works. Like I could be very pessimistic but also very optimistic, and with this YouTube channel, I guess I'm quite a lot of both, right? But I'm also very optimistic with this YouTube channel. I do believe that one day, good things will come my way with the Alpha Only YouTube channel. But what if, that 1% chance it doesn't happen? Or, I decide to quit Alpha Only YouTube. What else am I going to do with my life? And that's what I've really been struggling to figure out. I don't know what else I want to do outside of YouTube, right? I don't want to go back to school. That's just a waste of time. I don't want to like download that useless information in my brain of all that Matrix talk. And listen, I'm 18 now, right? So I find it kind of cringe to talk about all the Matrix and stuff like that. I'm out of that phase now. I've got plenty of Matrix videos on my channel that I think are quite good, but I'm out of that phase now, right? I've discovered the Matrix. I know what the Matrix is capable of, right? So it's not just like, it's not a shock factor to me anymore. But at the same time, I still do believe that school is a scam and all this stuff, right? None of my beliefs have changed. I'm just not as extreme on it anymore. And I don't, to be fair, that's a lie. I am still as extreme on it. I just don't talk about it anymore. Anyways, I'm yapping. So I don't want to go back to school. And like in terms of getting a job, like I want to get a job in like a retail shop to improve my social skills. But that's not really going to help me from a financial point of view, because in the short term or long term, because obviously in the short term, I'm not going to be earning the best money. I probably wouldn't work full time because I don't think I'm mentally prepared for that. And in the long term, it's not like I'm getting qualifications for working a retail job and like, I'm going to put in my CV, yeah, I worked in a retail shop, that's pretty good qualifications. Like, no, it's not. Like working in a retail shop, anyone could do that, right? It's like, I could get a retail job in 2 seconds if I wanted to, you know what I mean? So it's not a flex. It's not really something to be proud of. So I guess that is the main thing that I'm lost about at the moment. And I don't know, because originally, like I've talked about at the start of the year, I wanted to get into sales and do that, but it's like sales is not for me. It's just like not what I want to do. I don't want to be known as, one of those annoying salespeople for my whole life. You know what I mean? I don't want to be known as the guy that is always cold calling people, trying to, bug people, annoy people, and be like, hey, I can't even remember anything to do with cold calling anymore. I can't even remember my script. I haven't really revised my script since December of last year. So I don't even remember, hey, sorry to bother you, man, but, we've heard of this and that and this. And like, I just don't want to be known as that person that's just like bothering people my whole life. That's just not what I want to do with my life. I want to do more with my life, which is why I love making these videos so much, because I don't have a passion for selling people things, right? Like the only reason why I wanted to get into sales is because there's good money in sales. But my real passion, obviously I've got quite a lot of passions, right? But one of my main passions is helping people with self-improvement, benefiting them, right? Because not only is, yes, if your channel blows up, you can make a lot of money from that, right? But I also just care for you, I've made so many mistakes in my life and done so many stupid things that I wish I could have not done. Technically, like if I could click my fingers and reverse it, I actually wouldn't, because obviously all the mistakes I've made have led me up to this moment now. And, obviously I've learned from those, but I've still made such dumb decisions and done such dumb things. And, I haven't stood up for myself when I should have at times. And I just don't want other people my age or younger or older making the same mistakes as I have, right? So that's why this YouTube channel is a way for me not only to express myself, but to express and give my personal advice out to other people that are maybe going through similar things to me and are this close to making the same stupid mistake as I did in the past. And maybe, you coming across one of my videos can benefit you from making said mistake. I know recently these videos have been mainly just about me, not about you and what I can do for you. But I feel like not only do I want this channel to be where I give you advice and help you out, but I feel like you should get to know me as well a little bit. This is my channel at the end of the day. And I know Hamza, for example, as of now speaks against that. Like, oh, you shouldn't use your YouTube channel as like therapeutic. Like you shouldn't just talk on your YouTube channel and yap, because like that's just gonna like no one's gonna care, right? But at the same time, I feel like, sorry, I'm out of breath here. Jeez. At the same time, I'm getting old, man. 18, I'm an unk. At the same time, I want you to learn about me also. I still do, the advice videos and do guides and stuff like that. I just do 50-50, right? I would never do just like the whole channel was just me yapping about myself. I wouldn't do that, because then it wouldn't really be a self-improvement channel, right? But the majority of my videos are obviously helping you out. And for the first year of my channel, I never talked about myself. If you watch all of my videos, like from a year, like for the whole year, all of 2023, you wouldn't have learned anything about me, because I didn't really talk about myself much. It's only this year, the last few months, I've been talking about myself more. Next thing I want to talk about is, I'm a bit lost right now with what I want to do career-wise out of YouTube, out of the whole like entrepreneur thing. Like, what job should I get? Should I focus on getting a more social job or a more financially beneficial job? Should I go back to school? I'm not really sure what I should do. Next thing I want to talk about is how much I changed my mind. Right? I changed my mind a lot, and I really realized this even more when I watched Hamza's recent video on like how ADHD is developed, in my opinion, or whatever the video is called, I think. So basically it was a video on like how he personally talks about his thing of like changing his mind constantly. And me, and I'm sure a lot of other Hamza viewers have noticed this, that Hamza changes his mind all the time. I've talked about it in the previous videos. And it's annoying when, a YouTuber you look up to keeps on changing his mind on something and, says one thing and then the next 2 minutes he says another thing, right? It's really like, it kind of breaks that trust between the content creator and the viewer, right? But like recently I've really been understanding Hamza and like changing your mind constantly, right? Because, when it comes to self-improvement, there's a few things that I've changed my mind on personally, right? Like back in the day, I used to like, obviously, when I was obsessed with Andrew Tate and I was like fully Matrix, like full red pill, like, oh, freaking women shouldn't drive and stuff like this. Okay, I don't think I was that extreme. But like Andrew Tate would say like, oh, why are you going to a therapist? Just like therapists like are gonna make you more depressed and make you want to kill yourself even more, right? And I used to agree with that. I was like, yeah, exactly. Why would you want to talk to someone that they're only listening to you because you're paying them money? They don't actually care about you. But at the same time, as much as I still kind of think that, like, I feel like the first people you should speak to is either your parents or your boys. Right? If you have a girlfriend, don't bother speaking to her, right? She's just gonna break up with you if you talk about your feelings to your girlfriend, in my opinion. But speak to your boys or your parents, right? And if they don't help, then I feel like now you have the right to go speak to a therapist. I feel like I've never done therapy personally, but I feel like it can be quite helpful, right? Because, I use the word therapeutic for things that help me, like recording videos like these. Like recording videos like these really allow me to express myself, and it feels like I'm being listened to. Even if this video gets no views, it feels like I'm still being listened to in a way when I just talk to myself in general. When I'm not recording videos, I'll just talk to myself, have a full conversation with myself, and it feels like someone's there, someone's listening to me, and that is very therapeutic to me. So I feel like therapy is quite beneficial, and I feel like I feel like everyone could do therapy, you know what I'm saying? Like talking to someone that's experienced. Like you could talk to your friends or your parents, but they're not fully experienced on that psychological stuff you could be going through. Like you could have traumas and stuff you never even knew about until you went to a therapist. So I feel like my opinions change on that, for example, right? But that's like not a crazy change. My main changes are my interests, right? Like for example, one day I want to jump into a whole new YouTube niche, and then another day I want to become an animator, and then I want to sing, and then I want to act, and then I want to be a dancer, and then I want to be a model, and then I want to do all this like crazy stuff. Like my mind goes at like different speeds, like jumping from niche to niche and hobby to hobby, right? And as much as that's a good thing in a way, it's also kind of not, because yeah, it's good to like broaden your horizon, of course, and have a bunch of different interests and passions. But at the same time, you need to have that passion you're just focused on like all the time, right? You can't keep on jumping and jumping and jumping. You need to stick to one thing, which is why even at my lowest, when videos on my channel have gotten 1 or 2 views, I'm still sticking with YouTube because I still have that faith, that false belief. The false belief? What's the phrase I'm trying to think of? Blind faith. That's what I'm thinking of. That blind faith with the YouTube channel, even though a lot of the time, not a lot of the time, but sometimes there's like, I had a comment today, technically yesterday, it's like saying like, bro, you gotta like switch up the channel or just quit because like you're getting like no views on your videos and you've got so many videos and it's just like you're just wasting your time, and it hurts to see your channel like this, man. But I had to tell him like, bro, I respect your opinion, even though it kind of annoys me, but at the same time I gotta keep pushing, bro. I gotta keep learning from my mistakes, experimenting with different thumbnails and titles and different types of content, self-improvement content, and I've just got to keep pushing, man, because what's the point, right? I can quit YouTube and have literally nothing going for me, or just keep pushing with YouTube and hope one day that something happens, and I feel like that's a more positive mindset to have, because without YouTube I'd have nothing, right? So I've got to try with the thing I just about have, you know what I'm saying? What was I talking about again? Yeah, so my mind changing. So even though it's good to broaden your horizon, it's also not good to be jumping from thing to thing to thing to thing to interest to hobby to hobby to passion to passion. You need to find something you can love enough to stick with it for a long while. And I'm not saying you just like that's the only thing you can care about, that's your only interest. But at the same time, it has to be your main priority if you want to become financially successful and, make money, make your parents proud and live the life you want to live. You have to stick to that thing that you love just enough that, okay, right, sometimes it can be a bit boring doing the same thing over and over again, but I love it. This is my passion. This is what I enjoy. Maybe I don't enjoy it 24/7, but I enjoy it enough to keep at it and keep pushing no matter what, right? Like recently, I've like for the last week or two, I've not even been wanting to upload because it's like, what's the point? My channel's falling off, right? The algorithm is doing me dirty right now, spitting on me right now. I'm not getting no views right now. Should I just like have a week off and not upload and then upload again? But no, I told myself no. I'm pushing myself and pushing myself. And what did I do? I uploaded today, technically yesterday, and I got 8 views. I got 8 views on the video. Wow, right? It's nothing. I know it's nothing, but it's better than getting 1 view. It's an improvement. And yeah. Final thing I want to talk about is I just want to talk about myself. I mean, I guess I've been talking about myself this whole video really, but I've been wanting to talk about how I've been feeling with myself and yeah, just myself, to be honest with you, if that makes sense. I just feel like I'm abnormal. I feel like I'm not normal to the rest, like in social situations, I'm a wreck. In terms of like I was talking about like my career and stuff and what I want to do in my future, I'm a wreck. I don't know. I'm lost. I feel like a failure. I feel like a loser. I feel like sometimes I just sit in bed and I think to myself, wow, I kind of wish I was anyone else but me right now. And obviously I don't mean that literally. I mean, I'm very grateful for my life and I know that I'm more fortunate out there than, millions of people, right? I know that. But, sometimes you just don't want to be you because you just hate yourself, right? And when you hate yourself that much, it's hard to continue. Like I was talking about in my previous videos, I was feeling a tiny bit suicidal. Like I wasn't like directly thinking of doing anything to myself, but I was like what's the point? Like, what's the point of living anymore? Like, I'm not satisfied with myself. I felt like my life was already over and I failed life. You know, that's what I felt like. I felt like I reached my limit. I was on my deathbed, and I was just like, yeah, just pull the plug, just kill me, I'm dead. You know what I mean? Like, but yeah, to sum it all up, I just feel like a loser overall, and the main reason, well, the main reason is the YouTube channel falling off, right? But the second reason is just because I just feel like in social situations, I'm just a wreck. Like every time I leave the house, I don't feel like I'm the main man in the room. You know, I feel like I'm the weakest man in the room when I look at other guys and other girls. And I'm like, I see a pretty girl in public, but like, and I just feel weak. You know, I don't feel strong. You know, like I don't, you know, like another thing Hamza talks about was when when you believe, when you're not confident in yourself enough, when you don't love yourself enough, you have these automatic thoughts in your head that when in any like situation, social situation, for example, I'll see a pretty girl in the street and the first thought that comes to my head automatically without me having any control of it is you're out of that girl's league. You're not good enough for her. You don't even have the confidence to talk to her. You're a loser. Even if you did have the confidence to talk to her, she wouldn't like you. She'd reject you. You get all these thoughts just because of how insecure I am about myself and how much I don't love myself. Like I've really realized these last few weeks and months that I'm very insecure about myself. I'm very insecure about myself. And, you know, part of being a man is admitting your faults, right? That is one of my biggest weaknesses at the moment, being insecure, right? But most 99% of men cannot admit that they're insecure. Like, I'm not insecure, I'm not insecure. And that used to be me. Like, if you asked me even like 6 months ago, are you insecure? I'd say, no, I'm confident in myself and stuff. But like, and maybe I was back then. I was probably more confident back then than I am now. But, oh jeez, they dropped my phone for a second. In this moment in time, I'm quite insecure of myself, right? I feel a bit better about myself than I did like a few days ago, for example, because I go up and down in moods and stuff. Sometimes I think I'm like bipolar sometimes, but I don't think I am. I think that's a stretch. I'm not like diagnosing myself like, oh, I'm bipolar, guys. Like I'm not that guy, right? I feel like I have things like ADHD and stuff like that, but I'm not gonna claim I do until I'm diagnosed with it. ADHD is something I do believe I have symptoms of anyway. I definitely have symptoms of ADHD. The mind switching, you know, my attention span jumping from thing to thing. My attention span's naturally bad anyways, right? So, like, especially when I have different interests that I jump to. But this is why I would like to speak to a therapist, because I really want to know if I've got some like hidden trauma that I haven't even like, I'm not conscious of in my brain. You know what I mean? Like, there must be something that has messed me up, whether that's in my childhood or maybe even like when I wasn't even born yet. Like I was in my mom's stomach and like she went through something stressful, right? Because when she was pregnant with me, I'm pretty sure she was quite stressed and she wasn't in the best environment for the most part of that. I really want to find out what secret traumas I have within me, because I feel like I do have some that are affecting me to this day, right? Like when I was in my Matrix era and Andrew Tate era, I was like, no, I'm the blame for everything. I'm gonna take responsibility for all my actions. And yes, I still feel like I should take responsibility for the majority of my actions. But at the same time, I have to think back and like think to myself, okay, let's not put too much pressure on me. Let's not take all the responsibility, right? Like there's obviously something wrong with me because of my childhood or something, right? And like, yeah, like I can get the gist of what it was. Like I never got enough attention at school, so I never really felt confident within myself. And I guess when it comes to my parents teaching me anything to do with self-improvement, they never taught me anything, right, about how to like better myself or talk to girls, for example. Like I had to learn everything on my own, really, when it comes to bettering yourself. So obviously there's like little things there, but I feel like there's something deeper than that I haven't become aware of. And like hopefully one day I am able to become aware of it, because the day I am able to become aware of it and remember what it is, even if it hurts me in the short term, I can work on that and better that and be like, okay, I've worked out what my trauma is now. Let's defeat this. Let's step on it. Let's crush it. Let's do this together. You know what I mean? But yeah, I think that's everything I've got to say. 18 years old, man, it's crazy, bro. Like I am a grown up now. You know, I've been a kid my whole life, so I won't lie and say it's not weird for me to to feel like this, because I do. I feel quite weird. But yeah, hopefully you have enjoyed this Yap Fest. If you have enjoyed, please consider subscribing and liking the video. But seriously, if you have enjoyed your time watching this video, consider subscribing, because like I said, you'd be doing me a bit of a favor, boosting the algorithm for me. And at the same time, if you have benefited from this video, I'm sure I can benefit you a lot more in my other videos too. So why don't you subscribe and check out the other videos out now. Thank you for watching as always. Take care and peace. This is the start of a new era. I'm 18 years old, I'm a grown up, and I'm hoping life will get better from here. Thank you for watching as always. Take care and peace. Bye bye.